Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. International break has dragged on for a while, but Paris Saint-Germain is finally back against AS Monaco at the Parc des Princes this Friday. And we're facing up against the second toughest team in Ligue 1 Uber Eats after ourselves. I believe that Monaco are a tougher team to beat than WZE Nice. WZE Nice have just been more consistent in the league against the weaker oppositions and so on, where Monaco have dropped some very stupid points so far this season. We're only sitting 1 point out of Nice and 3 points out of Monaco. So this is a very tough fixture for Paris Saint-Germain straight after the international break. And obviously, as by the title and the thumbnail, Warren Zaire Emery obviously is out for the rest of this year, for the rest of 2023. We'll come back in the beginning of January. And Marquinhos was subbed off in the Brazil-Argentina game with an injured hamstring. So both of them will not feature in this game, which is kind of a blow for Paris Saint-Germain, especially in a game like this. But we should still be able to compete and win this game. The predicted lineup I have for this game is Gianluigi Donnarumma in goal, Achraf Hakimi at right back, Nordi Mukiele at left back, Lucas Hernandez to play as a centre back. To start as a centre-back for the first time this season alongside Milan Skriniar. Double pivot of Fabian Ruiz and Manuel Ugarte. Obviously, Fabian Ruiz coming in for Warren Zaire Emery. Dembele on the right. On the left, it's very hard to guess, but I'll probably go with Vitinha. And up top, Kylian Mbappe and Kangin Lee. Obviously, Asensio and Danilo Pereira should be back in the squad. Asensio could feature as a substitute. Danilo, if we need to make a substitute, he will come on. But yeah, this is how the predicted lineup will look like. I like it a lot. Fabian to start and Ugarte. Great game for them to get into that caliber, to get into that game rhythm ahead of that important Newcastle game in the Champions League. Mukiele, we've seen him as a left back. He's been really good there, both defensively. Obviously not that much offensively, but defensively, no one has gone past him. And I think he will continue to do so in this Monaco game. We'll get to see Lucas Hernandez as centre-back, which is the preferred position for him. That's why we signed him, to be our centre-back. But because of the injury to Nuno Mendes, he's been having to play out of position. But he should be back in his position, which is great news for Paris Saint-Germain. And then obviously, as the report I talked about a few days ago, when it comes to the tactical, flexible thing that Lucho wants to do, which is dropping the two strikers, which is Randal Colomwani and Gonçalo Ramos, who've been starting games ever since the Asensio injury. But now, he will either start with Kangin Lee or Asensio next to Kylian Mbappe as the centre forward that can also drop into midfield, which is great. I think it helps us a lot more because, I mean, Gonçalo and Colomwani have scored a combined total of 5 goals. If they're not scoring goals, they're not doing that much. Sure, they're pressing, they're making runs, but with the ball, haven't really done that much. And obviously, Asensio and Kangin Lee much better with the ball. So that's something that will definitely improve. And I just want to say something because I've seen so much reactionary comments after the Warren Zaire Emery injury and now with the Marquinhos stuff. People, please. This is a football club, all right? You guys one day decided to support Paris Saint-Germain, the football club. And one thing you have to realize is that a football club receives injuries. This happens to every single team that is a football team. This isn't something new, and this isn't something that's going to stop. We just have to accept, move on, and look at the positives. Remember, Paris Saint-Germain, this is probably the best depth we've had in a long time. So us receiving injuries, as I said, is not the biggest blow. Is Warren better than Fabian? Obviously. The Marquinhos injury is more for depth reason. I mean, seeing Skriniar and Lucas, I think that's the preferred centre-back partnership I have for Paris Saint-Germain this season, even though Marquinhos has sometimes showed us glimpses of his elite level. So I really don't get why people are overreactionary. As I said, Lucho now is going to play centre forward next to Kylian Mbappe, and we saw Paris Saint-Germain played when we had Asensio next to Mbappe. Against Lyon, against Arsenal. PSG were cooking, and especially Kylian Mbappe was cooking. So This is great news for Paris Saint-Germain. And as I said, having a tough game against Monaco at the Parc des Princes straight after the international break to warm up for the Newcastle game is the best thing that could have happened to Paris Saint-Germain. All we gotta do now is go into that field against Monaco and have a professional performance. Listen, I don't really want our players to go 100% because as I said, the Newcastle game, it's much more important. Plus, I want revenge for what those stinky people did to us at their home stadium. So Paris Saint-Germain should try to get a 1-0, 2-1, 2-0 victory. Just a professional victory. Don't concede any goal and you will score as long as you perform. And there's also one player that we should look out for from the Monaco team, which is Youssouf Fofana. I mean, he's a player Paris Saint-Germain been linked with now for a while and did recently score a golazo for the French national team. So he's definitely someone I'm going to look at in that Monaco side. But apart from him, mid. Balogun could be a bit dangerous, but playing Luke as a centre-back will help us a lot, again, with that situation. And that's why my prediction for Paris Saint-Germain versus AS Monaco will probably be a 2-1 to Paris Saint-Germain at the Parc des Princes, or even a 2-0. I could see a clean sheet, but I'm going to say 2-1. Paris Saint-Germain, you know what? I'm going to change it. 2-0. 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain at the Parc des Princes versus AS Monaco. Obviously, let me know in the comments down below, guys. What's your prediction for Paris Saint-Germain versus AS Monaco? That's been it. See you guys later for the pre-match podcast today. And as usual, allez, Paris.